What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Patient Next Holistic Healing. Today's video, we're going to talk about, the 48 laws of power. Again, I got more stories, more laws that was getting broken. So if you've never seen me before, my name is Professor X. I'll be a healing coach and spiritual teacher today. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, in today's story, it was a bunch of laws that was broken, really, but this is a really complex situation. And I'm kind of airing somebody out right now, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Just let's leave it at law number 2, right? They broke law number 2. Never put too much faith in your friends. Now, this was somewhat the good ending. Like, there was 2 people involved. It was my boy and it was his boy. You know what I'm saying? We're going to call my boy A and we're going to call his boy B, so we don't get it mixed up, you know what I'm saying? But this story somewhat takes place in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't vouch for people being in the streets. I know some people, they just grew up in that type of lifestyle and they might not have a choice and whatnot. I would never vouch for that. Don't be in the streets. If you in the streets, get out the streets, man, please. It's not worth your life. It's not worth anybody else's life that you may harm. It's not worth the many years of confinement in prison that you might get for doing the smallest of shit, especially if you're a minority. They look out for us. So please get out the streets at all costs. And if you need a reason why, this story could be a reason why. Now, growing up, he was no stranger to the street life. He had a hard life growing up. His father was, incarcerated almost all his life. And, he just had to get it how he got it, at some points. And B, I don't know too much about his upbringing, but I know he was in the streets for sure. Now, A and B, they would be doing missions together. You feel me? Like, they would, I'm not even going to get into what the missions were, but this is 25 to life missions. I'm going to keep this one real short and sweet too. Now, they would be doing a regularly scheduled mission and they would never get caught. One day, A is like, man, I can't really do the mission this time, but I'll get you on the next time. So B got to do the mission on his own. You feel me? While B is doing the mission on his own, B gets caught. You know what I'm saying? He gets caught up. And like I told you, this is 25 to life activities. B could go to jail for the rest of his life. At like 16 too. Like, we were kids when this happened, Now B, he get caught. When you get caught in the streets, your whole life flashes before your eyes. You don't know what's going to happen next. And they start offering you stuff. They put you in that interrogation room and they say, hey, you want some McDonald's? Don't worry about them. Talk to me. Don't talk to him. They start doing weird shit, trying to coerce you into saying shit you shouldn't say. And, B took the bait. You feel me? He took the bait. What ended up happening was B did not only snitch on my boy A, he snitched on like the whole operation. If you're in the streets, you know that is a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't promote street life, but at the end of the day, there are certain rules and regulations that you got to follow. If you do the crime, you got to do the time, period. B was not trying to do the time, understandably, you feel me? If you ever get in a situation like this, snitch. I'm not going to tell you not to snitch, you feel me? But just know that there are consequences for that. Now, A, he wasn't like the head of the operation, not even close. He was just a pawn, you feel me? So police were never really after him, but they did keep tabs on him. And I know because at one point I was around A lot. You know what I'm saying? I was around him a lot. And this was after he had already like moved out of the streets and all of that and trying to change his life around, at least to a degree. It was weird stuff happening where we was like, man, somebody watching? Like, I'm not even gonna get into all the details, but it was some weird stuff happening to bro. And luckily my boy A was not, the big fish, because whoever the big fish is, they're cooked. They're cooked. You know how I know? Because whatever they was doing, like I said, that's 25 to life activities. B, he got like 1 year max. They said you just not gonna be able to graduate on time. And then they sent him about his way. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 2 years. So that lets me know that he gave them enough information to where they could knock somebody down. And if that is very dangerous in the streets. If you tell on somebody, you are open to all type of repercussions, from not only from the law, but from the streets. Like I said, these are not situations that you want to find yourself in. This is why my boy A, he made a effort to get out of these types of situations. And I'm proud of him for that. But B, I don't even know where bro is at right now. You know what I'm saying? After he snitched on A wasn't messing with him, rightfully so. A realized that he violated the second law. Don't put too much faith in friends. This especially applies to you if you are in some type of, street environment. Your boys are not your boys, bro. I promise you. Like, I've seen it. I've never been in the streets. I'm not from the streets, but I know people who have gotten caught up from keeping fuck niggas around. Literally everybody that I know who has committed some type of criminal activities, they fail because of their homies and because of their own stupidity. This is not a movie. This is not some sort of TikTok video flexing. Like, this is real life. And people die. People go to jail for life. You feel me? Like I told you, my boy A, his father was incarcerated his whole life. So he knows what they be doing in there. He used to joke around like all they got time to do in prison is fight and fuck. And that's an unfortunate situation. You know what I'm saying? You never want to, especially in the United States, you never want to end up in the prison system because that's a business to them. You know what I'm saying? It's a business to them. That reminds me of another situation where one of my other boys, he broke the 48 laws of power and he was in a similar situation with the law. And this is what I mean by it's a business to them. They didn't actually care that they was taking drugs off the streets, bro. Like, after they busted him, they confiscated all of his legal materials and they spreaded it all across the cop car and all on the ground. And then they started taking selfies, y'all. They started taking selfies like this. Like, nah, I'm not even playing with y'all. And then they posted it to the police department Instagram. This is a business to them. You feel me? They get clout off of this. They go back to their job and they get clout off of this. Like, they don't actually care. Maybe some of them do, but a lot of these men don't actually care about cleaning up the streets. You feel me? It's just game to them. And oh, bro, he's still having legal troubles to this day. To this day, still. Okay, this shit happened within the last 5 years, 4 years ago, whatever. He's still having legal troubles. This is why you need to stay out of the streets, period. Stay away. That was another situation where, I had to not put so much faith in my friends. Literally after that situation, I lost all faith in my friend. And even after the original situation I was talking about with A and B, I was still friends with A after this because that was my boy, but I had to make a decision with him too. He started falling back into that life and I had to make a decision. I'm like, man, I can't mess with you no more. Feel me? Take all of your faith out of your friends who move in ways that you don't like. I don't care if it's a small thing or a big thing. You feel me? You don't gotta save everybody. A lot of times you just gotta separate yourself and grow on your own. You know what I'm saying? I've been isolated for maybe 5-6 years. Just because nobody else meets the true requirements to be my companion. And I know there's a lot of good people out there. I talk about in my other video, there's a lot of good women out there as well. They will come. You know what I'm saying? For you, you might just be starting out your journey where you got to separate yourself. I'm telling you, everything will fall in place. Everything will fall in line if you just protect yourself and love on yourself. When you start investing in yourself unapologetically, this is when you're able to build. This is when the whole universe conspires to make you win because you took everything out the equation and left only you. And that's the whole purpose of me making these videos, you feel me? I'm gonna have a few videos talking about the second law because that's one of the most important ones. Never put too much faith in friends, you feel me? And I'm not saying you can't have friends. Some people are just for now. Some people are forever. That's rare. And that's something that you gotta work for. That's something that you should feel like you should earn that. You should earn that by your own merits, doing your own thing on your own and reaching, these and those heights so that you can attract people who are also up there with you. I don't even really believe in taking people up with me because you dead weight. You know what I'm saying? If you're not on the same mindset that I'm on, why would I get around you? And it is some exceptions, Some people are solid, truth be told. My boy who, he was my best friend. And I told you he fell into the street life and I had to leave him alone. He was a solid dude too. He was a solid friend, but he was just into certain extracurriculars I wasn't down with. So I had to protect myself. But with that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe. If you got a comment or anything to add to the conversation, maybe you broke this law, maybe you use this law to your advantage, please let me know down below in the comments. I want to know y'all's story. I want to thank y'all for watching Patient X Holistic Healing. My name is Professor X, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.